Welcome back, guys, to the PPL. It was a banger last set. It's definitely going to be a banger this set. Team Envy versus PK, a.k.a. the Pittsburgh Knights. I'm your host, Fawn, but I'm joined here by the man, my partner in crime, Kresnik.
Yeah, and I love watching. I think this is a matchup that's like these players that played against each other in NA in the past so much, maybe minus Simpson and Zarini, the late additions, but these guys, I think, know each other pretty well. And depending on what version of each team show up today, we could have a great game, or I mean, it could be a one-sided blowout. Either way, we've seen Envy kind of struggle in the past. Do we get bad Envy? Do we get world champion Envy? It's hard to say till we get into game actually.
Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting too, because I mean, on the aspect, or at least on the discussion of Envy, I believe if Envy actually win this one, VP have to win both of their games tomorrow, correct, to be able to get their chance up in the standings.
Yeah, Envy winning this just kind of make it harder for VP to be able to flip it and get the seeding over them. And Meta Pusher's not playing, is he?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, he's sitting in the support seat.
No, I know.
Keeping it warm for Hayes, just in case. You never know. But I mean, Meta Pusher has scrimmed for them actually quite a bit, honestly, in the past. He's been with them for so long. Anytime a player is missing, they shift a little bit around roster-wise, bring in Meta to make things work. But he has experience if he had to sub in. I hadn't heard anything about it. But
yeah, I haven't either.
Would be interesting for sure if it did happen. But again, this group's been together for so long, I don't think it would even hurt them that much. Meta knows them so well. Being able to keep up their players, heal their tanks like Rubu, putting on so much aggression that he does. We know how Rubu plays. We know he's comfortable with his team, and we know he'll get the job done.
Exactly. I mean, Rubu, I always see this man in every single time that they put him on off-tank, which is primarily what it is that he ends up playing. He always has so much power, so much potential behind it. I mean, he's known for the Ruckus. I mean, I remember watching his play like a pro before where he was giving tips specifically on how to play Ruckus. And he's such an interesting off-tank because you see he knows when to turn on the switch of, okay, I got to go in. I got to be aggressive. I got to try and create some space for my team. And you see when he's picking up all these kills, how much space it is that he creates when you let him on some comfort picks for him.
He was also an off-tank that specialized in Barrack for a little bit. I know his avatar on Discord was just a zoomed-in TF2 Barrack face for a very long time. And we knew he loved his Barrack. Whenever they played some of their strats that would put him on Barrack, it was always him as opposed to the point tank, which it kind of tended to be. So we know they're a flexible team. We've known that for a long time. But they're a team that always kind of takes whatever meta is going on and shifts it to what they like to do.
True.
They are flexible in their own pools, maybe not beyond that. And they like to kind of maintain that strict, this is the Envy style, and we're going to do it no matter what else is going on with everybody else.
Right. I mean, Envy, they are such a powerful team together because I don't remember if I mentioned this on Kaz, I mentioned this on Des before, but they know how to play with one another, how to create a team environment that makes it really, really scary to go up against. Because you mentioned it before, they've been playing for such a long time. You have a lot of instances where as if somebody's end up being dove or someone's being pressured, they immediately turn around, they immediately fight or flank that person, they burst them, and then they go back to doing what it is that they do. I mean, they just know where it is they have to be and how they need to communicate with one another, which comes with the experience of playing together on a team for so long.
And having a coach like Meta, who I think does more specific coachy things than some others do. He's been used to it for a while, and I mean, there's not a lot of teams have coaches anymore. On the other side is a team that still does. Vapor.
Right,
Side too, for the Knights. He's come into play for them before. He kind of keeps them in line, keeps their strats intact. And Knights, I think, have been looking still kind of interesting. They've definitely seen improvements, obviously, over this phase. And I think it's only going to keep going. I think they are on that upswing, and it could peak by the time we hit those qualifiers, and that's where they needed to peak.
Yeah, I mean, you have two new additions to the roster. I mean, you have Simsalu, you have Zarina, you have the both of them on PK, and we've seen the potential is that they have, and every now and again, they have that power to be an extremely scary and terrifying team. I mean, whenever it is that they have the momentum, whenever it is that they win their matches, they have that power. They have that presence to be able to do so. If Knights actually end up winning this one, I believe they are locked 6th place in the standings.
Yeah, winning this one for the Knights all it would do is take it out of Kanga's hands.
Right.
So even if Kanga win, the Knights are still a win ahead, so they'll end up 2 ahead, impossible gap to close. If the Knights lose, they could still maintain their seed. It's just not their choice. I think that a player on this team who I think we were highlighting a lot before the season started, but I think has shown some inconsistency is Simsalu.
Yeah.
When he's been on fire, he's really on fire. He's commanding the game. I don't think there's anything you can do to him, but he's definitely had a lot of rounds where it's like, we're like 2 points in, and Simpsy's like 1 and 6. And I think that's Is it the team firing on all cylinders? Is it something with Simsalou? It's hard to tell because this night's roster was kind of we never knew how they would react to having these two new players on them.
I mean, we saw it in the interview how Ricotta at least was talking about like a while ago, like very, very first week of this phase of the PPL, about how they were saying, you know, like maybe like about a month or two down the line, you guys will see us like in full force. Maybe like a little bit later on, you'll see it. And having these EU players bring such a new variety, a new style to the team, they were saying that they didn't have before. Simsalou and Zarini, both of them, Simsy especially, is definitely one of those players to where, like you said, if he shows up, he's there, he's firing on all cylinders. You're like, man, this guy is popping me literally at every turn. What do I do? How do I try to adapt to that? But it's a matter of whether he wants, well, I can't say he wants, it's a matter of how he's going to play from this set on and forward, and see if they're really, really going to show up to try and fight for that 6th place.
And I think, honestly, this is kind of where the pressure is going to be starting, the real pressure, because we know that every team in the PPL was making it to Worlds in the first place, right? But now that pressure is mounting. This is the moment. This is where you're eliminated, and then that's it.
Yeah.
For the PPL 2019, for that chance at Worlds. So we know some of these players perform well when the pressure's on. I mean, speaking of, we talked about Simsy. His team won MSI.
Yeah, exactly.
That for him on Penta, that was the moment, right? Who knows what's coming after that for them? So maybe they'll just end up really lighting it up when the pressure is on moving forward. We know Envy's a team that can do that too. A lot of unknowns going into here. We'll have to see, I guess, how much pressure is on them for this game in particular. How important is that seeding to them?
Right, and I mean, of course, this is still going to give them sufficient practice where it is they actually have to play through the qualifier bracket, and this is going to be definitely a test of their skill. I mean, going up against Team Envy, that is not an easy task for anyone. Fighting the previous world champions, that is not an easy task to be able to try and take a game off of them. No matter how it is that they're doing this split, no matter how it is or how they're approaching these matchups from a game-to-game basis, Envy are still an extremely powerful team. PK, towards the bottom of the sea, but that does not make them a bad team either. It's a matter of whether they want, like I said before, where they want to show up today, where they want to keep putting on that pressure, and if PK really, really have what it takes to be able to fight that, try and take that win from Envy today.
Well, part of the night is they're drafting, too. Okay, Hayes is here. Whew.
Okay, yep.
I was going to say. I mean, I would actually love to see Metapusher play. But
Same, actually.
Still, Hayes being here is pretty important, I think, for Envy. Phenomenal player. But what I was going to say was the Knights' drafting, I think, is going to be really important against Envy. Because I said Envy like to take the meta and mold it to their style. And if the Knights know that, there's going to be some things that they can exploit. Random Noob, we've seen him flex recently to some other characters we hadn't seen too much before. Random Noob Buck, we saw, I think, previously, not really something we were too used to seeing.
Right.
If Envy have that flexibility, then yes, it will be hard to draft against them. But with Simsy and with the drafting that the Knights have had recently, I think that if Envy don't kind of bring out something like that today, the Knights do have a pretty good shot, even before the game starts.
Right, exactly. I mean, and on top of the Knights, I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is the last game it is the Knights have to play for the split. I mean, tomorrow when VP actually end up fighting Kanga, with a loss here, I mean, Kanga would just have to need a win to overtake them in both map differential and a head-to-head tiebreakers.
Yes.
I mean, like, Kanga have a chance to be able to overcome them in terms of seeding. But once again, I mean, PK, they have to fight today. I mean, it's not easy. They definitely have to. They got their work cut out for them, for sure.
No, I got a lot of friends on the Knights, but I got to say the story of the Knights playing against Type Unit at the qualifier land would be so much better.
I agree.
Kanga playing against Type Unit. Not that I don't want Knights to win.
Okay.
They have a good shot today. Like I said, it depends on what Envy shows up. But the potential of them playing against Hype Unit against their old teammates, is there. And that's a pretty big deal. Maybe they don't want that to happen. Maybe they know. Maybe they'll be found. They think they'll be found out if that happens. So they're going to try their damnedest to not be in that situation. Either way, they might even. It is out of their hands if they do lose today. It is up to Kanga tomorrow if that is the case.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I'm just trying to think about a situation in which qualifiers would not be super sick. Like, just in general.
No, it's pretty much going to be super sick.
Right, exactly. Like, with PK versus Hype Unit, you brought it up. I mean, they have old teammates on that team. You have to be able to fight them and see if, they've really been able to adapt to this new meta, adapt to this new strategy. And on top of that, PK, they definitely have a very, very hard game set out for them today. I mean, even still, this is their last game, but once again, it's really, really a matter of trying to fight that, try and harness that energy they need to be able to continue on. But we're going to take a look at the map bans and see where we won't be going today, what maps are off of the board. It's going to be Splitstone Quarry, and it's going to be Fish Market.
Fish Market's a smart ban against Envy, obviously. Warders, Gate, Frozen Guard are the other two. Warders, I think just something Envy doesn't really want to play on. Makes sense to get rid of that. You ban something from them, ban something for yourself, and move on from there.
Exactly. Frog Isle is going to be the first map that we will be seeing in the second set of the day. And that's going to be really, really fun because, of course, you have like your little windows right there. It's a matter of, I mean, we've seen prioritization of snipers. Not always, but it has been a thing that a lot of people know to deal with. I mean, Ash is going to be the first ban, though.
Target the bunny Ash.
Right, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, they're definitely targeting a player on PK by the name of G Bunny, for sure. They don't want him to be able to have access to that. They're going to get rid of the Kinessa on the nice side. They don't want to have to struggle to be able to try and fight back against that Kinessa or allow them the opportunity to get a sniper. And with that Kinessa ban, is that Knight saying that we're going to ban both of them? Is that what that potentially could be saying?
They could be baiting that. One option they have here, and they might be done banning by the time I even get this out, but if Envy don't ban Makoa or Strix, then Knights can also do the same and kind of leave Envy in that gambit of do we pick Makoa or Strix, right? If Envy pick Strix, then Knights will get Makoa and something else, and it's very hard to stop a Leviathan Makoa rushing down on the side. Torvald's
interesting.
The ban. So the Knights could not ban either, and then just play off that aggression. Maybe grab Makoa Khan, get rid of the overpower to stop the Leviathan or Ancient Rage before it even happens, right? Get 2 fantastic tanks, and then just play super aggressive and not let that Strix really have room to breathe. It's a choice, clearly something they're considering.
Right.
They could also just play it safe and just ban Strix and not have to deal with the Strix at all. But it's an option. If both power tanks are open, generally second pick ends up on the better end, so they decide to play it safe. Envy will get Atlas, but Knights will get Makoa and their best follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, Makoa Khan, that's already pretty scary. You already see the Khan being Harvard first pick right there. No matter who they want to go second, like you were just saying, Kresnik, literally to the dot, to the T. Khan and Makoa are going to be the 2 frontliners they are going to be taking for him. That is a lot of power to be able to fight back against Envy. I mean, you have 2 really, really strong tanks, but they're even stronger on Frog Isle. There are a lot of places you can get thrown off of. There's a lot of places that are really, really hard choke points to hold.
There is no escape from an overpower.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's literally nowhere it is that you can go that would not be dangerous to try and fight both Khan and Makoa together.
I was literally about to say, if they lock this barrack and they don't take Victor, that is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Envy's super smart taking that Victor. He counters Atlas and Barrack super effectively. Take it off the board. They know it's always going to be good here. That was definitely, I think, what the Knights were looking for if they ended up with that. Khan Makoa now. Khan's going to struggle maybe on the point fight against this Barrack, especially with a possibly Wrecker Victor backing him up.
Rector. I mean, hey, that's a good name. That's definitely a way I would be able to describe it, especially going into the machine.
What? No.
Sorry, it's not
it's not Rector.
Yeah, it's definitely not Rector. Well, I mean, I don't see that in the script here, but I mean, Maldamba Maeve is going to be picked on the Knight's side. Maldamba Maeve is going to be picked on the Knight's side, and then the last 2 characters are going to be, or at least on Envy side, it was looking at a Ying. They're looking at an Eevee potentially. Yep. That's okay. That's a lot of mobility.
And that's Envy. That is
that's
Envy,
true.
especially if they go with this Genos. Genos will be fantastic at boosting the Victor and possibly the Eevee. Cassie is something that I don't think we've seen Random played super confidently on. This would be also kind of interesting, being able to push forward and lock down some lanes with that Aya, that 25% boost, making that Atlas even harder to kill. Very tough to deal with. We'll have to see where they do land. They could end up honestly back with the Eevee and the Genos. One thing that I forget who on Envy does it, but somebody just like clicks between like 8 different champions before they lock what they want.
Right.
So that is entirely possible that's what's happening right now. Eevee Genos will be the final locks. Eevee for Random, as expected. And Genos should be pretty solid with them. They don't have any necessarily hard comp. Oh, they actually will have the Ice Storm plus through time and space to confirm that. So some execution options for Envy too.
I mean, on Knight's side, they've definitely got the long range capability as well. I mean, you've got the Victor, you've got the Eevee, Barrack, Atlas, Genos, and then on the Knight side, you've got Khan, you've got Makoa, Maldamba, Maeve, Leon. Leon to be able to counter that Eevee. She can burst down shields too, but Atlas with that Divider, I mean, we've seen the Divider talent end up being picked.
Yeah.
It covers up so much space, if not almost the entirety of Frog Isle. So that's going to be a struggle for her to try and be able to break through. But whose draft do you like more? I'm a fan of the Knights, just a little bit, just a tiny bit more.
I'm going to say I think Envy, because of the Atlas Temporal Divide,
that makes sense.
Saying, Knights have to be aggressive, and Temporal Divide says no.
Right, exactly. Okay, well, there we go, guys. Both drafts are already locked in. We're looking at a game 1. It's going to be set 2 of the day. It's going to be the final set of the day. We're going to see how both of these teams are going to be able to play. We're going to throw it right down to the casters to take us into it.
That's right, Fawn, our second and final set of this Thursday. And Gormizer, it's another one with seeding implications on the line. If the Knights win, their spot's locked in. If Envy win, they force Virtus Pro to win both of their matches tomorrow. Remember, our final set of the PPL split is Virtus Pro and Envy. And that one could determine 3 versus 4. It all starts here, though. Teams with destinies in their own hands on Frog Isle.
And honestly, if you're anyone here, you're looking at the Knights only because of what they can bring to the table and the things that they could maybe change. 6th seed going in just means you're going to have a little bit, I want to say, easier of a time.
Sure.
Theoretically,
that's fair.
In that early bracket. The problem is it's double elim, so no matter what,
right.
You're going to have some issues. But 5th and 6th seed from the PPL should theoretically have a slightly easier travel path. But the problem is that's only the first round of play. The second round, you're probably playing someone in the PPL again. And so this would more so just be proof that you can do it at that level and that you do deserve to go to the quarterfinals.
Well, except for, 1 or 2 teams, you're going to lose at some point during that quarterfinal week, whether it's early on or to another PPL team, maybe later down the road. Remains to be seen. Plenty of upsets potentially in the wings. This game, though, lots of potential to shift things around. First blood to Envy, first point percentage to the Knights. Rock Monkey starting to fire. He's in that conversation of Victor as well. It's not only Bittner, it's not only Invocal. Envy and Rock Monkey are going to pick up Victor here on Frog Isle.
And I mean, being able to kind of come through with this, the grenade I think has greater implications, but Victor plays so safe on this map. He plays very far behind. Very akin, again, I think I said this earlier on the desk, but you can play him in the same spot you'd want to play Strix, and he's going to have the same, maybe a little bit more potency, not quite as much survivability.
Sure.
That comes down to it. He's not going to 1v1 you to death every single time, but in a team fight, he's going to get just as much, if not more damage.
Big shell spin in, 84% for the Knights. Rock Monkey safe in the back line as well, holding that window down. Grabs a kill, trades out with Ricotta as well. Pittsburgh Knights, though, they're just on the point a little bit longer. The kills maybe are there for Rock Monkey, but the presence, the positioning, all for the Knights.
It's all the other kills as well that come down from the Knights. Specifically the fact that they got Tolkien and Rubu first, which allowed G-Bunny and allowed anybody on the Knights, Zarini, to just move forward and stand on the objective and say, well, this is ours now. Good luck.
Yep.
And yeah, you get a couple kills maybe in return as Rock Monkey, but Simsalou is playing out of his mind right now on the side. And except for the reprieve that Rock Monkey has been giving them, there's not a lot really going too well for Envy.
The lone 5 streak burning away for Envy. You're not wrong. It's been Rock Monkey and then not much else. They'll need Random Noob on this Eevee to supplement a little bit as well through time and space from Mr. Hayes. Connects on the Cuskewty. So one healer to the other, and Envy are better off for it. And this is where you can really buy yourself some time on Frog Isle, a very fast-moving map if things start to go in the wrong direction.
And this is part of the example as to why Atlas can be really good. That Stasis Field, very large, does stall some of the aggression for the range champions on the Knights. At the same time, it only does so for 5 seconds at a time. That's like that weird window to play in, right? Where you're looking at it, and that's something that the desk was talking about. It's a great way to stall aggression, but it only stalls it for that 5 seconds, which enables the Knights to maybe use this time to get more aggressive and try to find Rubu.
Rubu, slow start to this game, has proven effective on the defense. Caster's Curse, though, he goes down. But this is a good fight for Envy, especially if they're able to grab all of these kills. Couple for Rock, 1 for Random. There's always that potential danger on Frog Isle, though, where if you push up too far, you lose a fight kind of convincingly, 5-0, and then things really start to spiral out of control. But Envy holding on, at least finding 1 for 1, maybe 2 for 1 throughout most of these trades.
And luckily for the Knights, and maybe unlucky for Envy, they lose the main reason I think they were holding. With Rock Monkey going down, who's at like 8-1 now with that death. It's going to open this up. They can at least get overtime, and you might look at this and think, man, they're only 30% of the way there. That's nothing. But in 10 seconds, you can make 60% of Frog Isle. It's a lot to gain here.
Especially with Rock Monkey dead for the next 10 seconds. They're going to be able to move very far forward. And now, in reality, this payload's going to move pretty far forward. If you just get one big team sweep, Knights are going to be able to push it in. We'll have to see how it plays out. G-Bunny deep in the back line of Team Envy. What ultimates do you use? Ancient Rage used first. Rubu trying to exile a couple. Stunned out, killed out by Ricotta. Simsalou in the kill feed as well. Mr. Hayes may have to let through time and space fly to give him a chance, but it's Dome Shield down from Tolkien to buy that time. And there's just 2 members left of Envy, and it's all down to Mr. Hayes. He's not going to be enough. And that's the threat that Frog Isle brings. You die too convincingly all at once, and the Knights are able to push it in.
And I think it was the back-to-back deaths on Rock Monkey. I think he is probably the linchpin for Envy right now. And by probably, I mean, well, based on that round and the statistics, he is. When he's doing well, the entire team is able to hold on. Even when he's doing well in the mid-fight, that doesn't quite mean a win. He was 5-0 going into the push for the Knights. And that wasn't enough to give Envy a point. It did give them some decent percentage, but Rubu at 2-5, Tolkien at 1-3. Random Noob not having the best game at 2-3 as well. All those kind of lining up. You can have G-Bunny be 0-5 all day. It doesn't matter if Rock Monkey's the only one getting kills for Envy. Even if they're all onto Makoa, 4 members still standing, and 2 of them being on very high burning streaks, 2 at 7, 1 at 9. You have to deal with these DPS, these damage players on the Knights.
Envy's got some great damage numbers. Frontliner for the Knights looking for something. Mr. Hayes grabs the shot. Random Noob and Rock Monkey as well get in on the killing game. Grenade plugs away about 60 health away from himself for Rock Monkey. Now the zone is on. Fast cap is there. This is a tough one to break if you're the Knights.
Yeah, that honestly could be it. That could just have been the point fight, was just that shot. Might be a touch from Simsaloo if he stays alive. No, really good void grips. Make it so he can't even get the touch. And that's, again, another good example not only of Frog Isle, but of how much potency one shot can have from a through time and space.
Won't have it now. 30% left there. 2 minutes left on the push, just starting off. But already on the offensive foot. Big difference. Huge temporal divide from Rubu. Spans the map. Tolkien getting aggressive into the shell shield. Just needs one more shot. Enough sustain is going to keep G-Bunny alive. Rubu off screen, though, grabs the kill. Second onto Zarini. Down to 3 here for the Knights. Envy are in a great spot, Gore, with 1 minute and 50 seconds left and not that much distance to go.
We saw what you can do in overtime with the Knights. So with 1 minute and 40 left, we are not anywhere near out of this. Of course, they're still moving it forward, so they're nowhere near out of this, even with Rubu getting low right there. Just uses a second chance and stays in the fight. Looking to tie it up. That's where the question will start to fall out between these two teams. It's nice play from Ricotta, at least going to get them set up.
Uses the Enlightenment to stay alive, grabs himself a kill as well, and now he's free and clear in the backline. Has to be careful. One last shot from Tolkien would have done it, unable to find it. Ice Storm down from Random Noob, but Leon starting to hit those shots. 13 streak for Ricotta, and the defense is still on. Not out of the woods yet, though, with 1 minute left for Team Envy and some ultimates starting to come online.
He's at 71 health there for a good chunk of that. Healed up about 400 by the time he was able to deal with the rest of the aggression coming through. But a lot of clean shots for him. Cooldowns barely working out for him as well. That was just good play. We'll say the only downside to his gameplay is that he's gone with the scoped weapon for this skin instead of an unscoped weapon. That might just be me.
No, I think I'm with you.
It just takes up more of the screen. It has no functional difference.
It's actually kind of fair. I mean, if you look at the rocks on the right-hand side there, you're seeing a little bit less. At any rate, though, Dread Serpent from Cuss Cutie is going to set up a good fight here for the rest of the Knights. 25 seconds left. They only get 2 kills, but they're making up so much space. Hook in onto Rock Monkey. That might just be enough to do it. Savage for Ricotta. 17 streak for him. Big zone here. Try to keep anyone from Envy in touch range, and this goes to a 3-1 on Frog Isle. Pittsburgh Knights are going to be feeling good.
They will have to withstand one more team fight from Envy going around the mid, and that's part of what lost. I mean, comeback mechanic on a mid fight, all you need is one on this map. Then the zone right afterward is usually solid enough to guarantee you a point. So Envy still have a chance to stay afloat in this one. They're definitely not sink or swim moments, but they are kind of on the edge, right? They're treading water, I guess is the best way to word it, where one slip up, one mistake, maybe they're too tired and their head goes under. And the Knights start this up. Granted, it's only going to be for just a little bit, still 0-0, so it'll only be map 1. And Frog Isle, granted, not the most telling map of a set either.
That's true. So, I mean, 4-0 for NIP on Frog Isle in our last set, and took them a little while to wrap up that win. So just the first one here. Mr. Hayes is going to look for the through time and space to give his team the advantage. Waiting for a more secure moment. Not through the midnight. Simsalou looks to get aggressive. Toki out of position there. G-Bunny moves forward, gets the kill. Now this Mave can flank around. Mr. Hayes just trying to position himself. Enlightenment rips through, doesn't connect onto anyone. Ancient Rage swinging away through time and space. Finally for Mr. Hayes, doesn't connect. Get back here, says G-Bunny, who's now grabbed himself a double kill. And all this time, Gormizer, 51% for the Knights.
I mean, just accruing as much as they can. Random Noob going down there as well. Barrage used from the base, and it's not able to find any kills. This is looking like a Knights fight.
They're just trying to get back and get a touch on the point. I don't see a world where that happens. Hook in just to seal up this game. Simsalou is already in emote mode. Pittsburgh Knights, they grab win number 1 convincingly over Team Envy. 3 wins away from sealing up that 6th spot.
They took the first step they needed to, and they're just trying to find themselves spot number 6. And that's going to be the goal overall. A win here, again, means that there's no chance for them to drop down from 6. It solidifies 6 and 7, which would solidify them in the standings, or in the bracket, I guess, going into qualifier, so they know who they're going up against. A slip-up for the rest of the maps, well, which, granted, could be anywhere from 3 to 6.
That's right.
Could always shake things up, let Envy come through, try to seal their deal in 3rd or 4th.
That's a really good point. Technically, with 6 kind of spots still up for grabs, a win here from the Knights would lock up all bottom 4 there. They grab win 1 on Frog Eye. Let's see if Envy can find themselves a win right after this break.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back, guys. A decisive battle on Frog Isle means that PK are going to end up taking the game overall 1-0, their first point in this set, with them winning actually 4-1 against Team Envy.
It felt like
it
a
was
4-0.
Yeah, it did, because they were just so controlling with how the match was continually evolving. I mean, Rock Monkey in the very beginning on Team Envy side was 5-0, but then it just started spiraling out of control.
5-0, but they lost the point.
Right, exactly.
Right? I think they just kind of owned the rest of the map, and that's what you have to do against a victor. You know you're not really going to have too much of a chance in that mid area, but if you win everything else, it doesn't really matter. The point is what matters most. Cuss Cutie basically doubling Hayes' heals. Not too surprising. Damba versus a Genos. Genos, especially on a losing team, when your people aren't sustaining a lot, you're not really going to have that level of healing output. All the DPS is actually pretty close in terms of healing, but I mean, looking at it, Rakata and Simsalou and Random, all very close. Random, Rock, excuse me, like 3,000 above, but still. Even performances, but you got to look at that stat line for Rakata, 12-4. With the rest of his team almost kind of struggling. It really feels like he was what brought them to that win.
There are a lot of times where he was just sitting back, chilling, and there were other times like this in this replay where you just see him rotating around, being the aggressor, you know, just putting on more pressure along with Simsalou, finding openings into their backline. Such a good presence flick shot as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the type of performance he was having. The long-range snipe, too, on the Enlightenment. Like, he was just firing on all cylinders, both literally and figuratively, throughout this match. I mean, what else can you say about him other than the fact that he did pretty darn good throughout this match?
He would have been dead there, actually, if Rubu didn't have to reload. I will say also, shout-outs to G-Bunny in that last fight. He had a kind of rough game all throughout, but in that last fight, he more or less solo carried. I didn't think that was worth bringing him in as the highlight player from that one play, because I think Ricardo was consistently fantastic throughout.
Right.
But I do want to shout him out for basically putting the team on his back in that last and just walking straight through danger, not without a care in the world.
Yeah, just killing 2 people, then continually pushing into their base, body blocking to get them the win. We'll have to see if Envy can at least fight back or have some semblance of being able to do so in map 2, picking what this map is, which is it's Stone Keep. Okay.
And this is going to be Knights' pick too, I'm assuming, unless Envy chose second pick on this map. So Knights always nice to win your enemy's pick and then just get your own immediately after. Like, yeah, we just 4-1'd you. Yeah, we're going to our map. What of it? We have that luxury. And Willow Band is a luxury for the point tank on the other side, not letting that anti-heal deny that ability to contest. Makoa banned by Knights, which means Atlas will more than likely follow. It's left. It's got to be an off tank with probably a Khan or an Ashe or something. Could bring out the point tank instead if they think it is that much better. 58% win rate, might agree.
Yeah, Willow, Makoa, Atlas, Strix. Caught me off guard a little bit. Switches Zarini's camera. He's giving the Ghost Rider penance stare. As soon as we flick back to his camera, he's just staring deeply into the soul. Barrick is going to be first pick on Knight's side. Khan is going to be the second pick throughout this draft, and they're hovering the Cassie. Be able to have that tank shredder presence, as well as just being able to break those shields. I mean, Khan, Cassie, Barrick, so far. I mean, what do you respond with if you're the Knights?
I was going to say Cassie's good into Ashe and Ruckus and Nando.
Right.
And all right into Term, but I don't think they're going to run Term off tank. They are a team that would pick it. They do have Zarini on their roster, but it's going to have to be Ashe for the bullying potential. It was banned last game, but he's going to be back on his bay.
Form up and
Genos potentially coming in after. Genos fantastic with both those tanks. The Knights are so flexible now in their final DPS picks. Envy might take a second DPS just to kind of deny options that the Knights have, but that means that Envy are showing all the cards. What's going to be left is probably a point tank in Nara, more than likely, or a support, which doesn't really change too much in the sense of what you want in general.
Right. I mean, you've got the Khan, you've got the Cassie, you've got a very, very powerful off-tank, you've got your tank shredder, you've got your pretty much shield wrecker in that case. I mean, you go for the Anara for that sustainability to be able to survive on play. You go for the Eevee as well to follow that up with a little bit more mobility and putting pressure on those back lines. So, I mean, if this is the case, you said that the Knights were already pretty flexible. If Envy are going to go with this, I mean, that tells me a Leon pick through and through. Do you see a Drogos as well, possibly?
This is Don't Keep. It's definitely possible. Wormjets could be good. I think if they go, they could go Mave Drogos as an ending. I think that'd be really solid.
True.
They have that dive potential. Midnight, so good to push through. They have a couple ways to CC immunity on the other side, but that forces out abilities, right? You might what you're going to force. Earthen Guard, you're going to force Ice Block just because you ulted across the map.
Right.
That's fine. Honestly, that opens up the world for my other ultimates. My Assert Dominance is suddenly a million times better when I finally go in with it. So it'll make things a little bit easier for the Knights if they go that way. Mave will come in. It could be Mave Leon. They want to have that potential counter to the flanker, but Victor on Stone Keep instead, so strong on this map, and will still do that counter flank pressure that the backline's going to have to.
Exactly. I mean, you also have a lot of pressure on point. I mean, he's got so many bullets. I mean, he has plenty of time to spread out the damage how you would expect him to spread it out. I mean, with Barrage, that's going to be a huge factor, I mean, into their tanks. Which is why Envy, I believe, are drafting the Ying for that sustainability, right? With Illusory Rift and being able to have those illusions to be able to keep everybody healed up.
Plus making Resilience a little bit less, I guess, valuable on the other side. If you have Damba, then suddenly Resilience is a rushed buy for everybody. But with Ying, maybe you're like, oh, but we can't really counter her healing till we get to like Caught 2, Caught 3 on some people. Maybe we really do need it. So Ying definitely to kind of force that gambit on the Knights' side in the item store purchasing. I think it'll be pretty good for that too. Also, Ying is pretty good at getting away from dives if the players are good with her, and all these supports at this level are going to be good with her, at least good enough to evade it. Hay is, of course, one of the best supports in the world. I think a lot of people would agree. Just looking at the draft side by side, I want to give the edge to the Knights. I feel like the way they drafted was really strong at limiting Envy's ability to be flexible. That is a pretty classic Envy draft in some ways. You got Cassie, Eevee, and Nara for Tulki. So Envy have their choices, but I like what the Knights ended up with a little bit better.
I do too, actually. I mean, you put it into a lot of perspective when you were saying the darkness. Well, call it darkness. Midnight.
The darkness.
Yeah, the darkness. Midnight is going to be the thing that's going to force out a lot of abilities on Team Envy, and that's going to play a big role, especially when you pick somebody to complement her and the ability that she can force out the team's abilities, like Victor. I mean, you force out that Earthen Guard, DR is gone. Ice Block, that very, very short DR is gone as well. I mean, I agree with you, man. I mean, I like the Knights draft already. We're looking at a game 2 currently. We're going to throw it down to the casters to take us into Stone Keep.
You got to be careful here if you're Envy. You lose game 2, things maybe start to spiral a little bit. It's a game of runs, but I think this is a matchup, especially against the Knights, this resurgent Knights. this late on in split 2. I think you kind of need to match them game for game, or
Yeah.
you know, if you lose this one, you have to win game 3, in my opinion. But starts here on Stone Keep.
I think when I see 2-0s, I think of 2 teams.
Yep.
One of them is Sour Team, who likes to win from behind when they're at a 2-0 deficit. The other one is the Knights, though, which very often this year we've seen go up 2-0
Yep.
and then lose the set 4-2. So it's not
That's true.
the end of the road
I
for
agree.
Envy,
That's
but
fair.
like you said, if you lose this one, you lose game 3. We have seen 1 reverse sweep in all of 2019. So matching them blow for blow is definitely a lot better of a chance to keep things going. But Simsalou gets first blood. You've got Ricotta now on this
Yep.
Victor. It's a very dangerous game for Envy.
And I think I feel more pressure on this game, not because Envy don't have the ability to come back from, you know, a few games down, because they absolutely do. I mean, it's not over till it's over. Nice double grenade from Ricotta to open up the doors. But I think if the Knights, it depends how the Knights look, because a fully competitive, fully formed, fully aggressive Knights team, that's more scary, I think,
Yeah.
in my opinion, than maybe Envy's ability or inability to come back. But I think if you get a complete Knights performance, which we're starting to see here, already at 90%, they're going to zone out for the first cap. Things get dangerous. They already grabbed point number 1.
Honestly, what I feel like we're seeing here is a little mix of 2 things, right? It's not just a Knights having a phenomenal performance. I mean, 2 deaths, now 3 total throughout this round so far.
Yep.
But Envy have just not lined up. I don't know what's going on, where the play is, but Random Noob not having a clean game. Rock Monkey had a great first game, but
Yeah.
so far isn't really finding his footing. With Midnight to get him back into this, it's just opening up a lot. This Mave might be the essential
Wow.
pick for the Knights right now.
That's some patience from Simsalou. Plenty of targets that he could have jumped on, but instead saves his shots for Random Noob. Zarini comes around the corner to finish off the kill. They were back in their base maybe 5 seconds ago, but the Midnight is going to allow them back in. Zarini a little bit too far forward there. Does get traded out. Simsalou's still lurking in the back line. Dash away. But now he's got 3 members of Envy looking at him. They're not going to make a mistake about that one. Pittsburgh Knights stalled, but not for long. Payload off of the point. Starting to move forward. Some ultimates ready for them as well. This is where I think Envy really needs to kind of draw that line in the stone.
This is also probably the best place to hold as long as you can on Stone Keep. Mainly because this like hill into the arch, it's just very convenient. You get some good high ground up against the attacking team. Most of the time, well, all of the time if you're on the payload, most of the time if you're any of the other members of the team, you're fighting on equal or higher ground if you're the defenders.
Nice.
Simsalou is definitely making sure this door opens back up, and they do it in such a way that they should walk right through this first archway.
That's a delayed triple there from Simsalou, an official double. A kill just a moment before. I thought he nearly turned around and got those daggers onto Random Noob, but it was Ricotta confirming the kill. This man on the Victor is doing his best Rock Monkey impression. Overpowered, no good from Rubu. That's an important ultimate. That goes searching for some value. Dome Shield dropped down from the Knights as well. Simsalou lurking, waiting for his time to jump forward. Rubu, excuse me, grabs the first kill, traded out by Simsalou, but it's Ricotta for Tulki. You're going to be missing a lot of that Victor range now if you're the Pittsburgh Knights. Rock Monkey needing to hit these shots. Doesn't clean up the kill, but an Ice Storm does from Random Noob. 8 seconds left, and it looks like Envy maybe be able to hold on to this one, but still healthy down on the payload is Zarini.
Without Zarini around, it's going to make a big difference, and that is why it's so
big
important.
barrage.
Using that barrage comes down so much from it. And with that grenade, everyone's so low on Envy.
Ricotta, he has plenty of targets to shoot at. Can't quite get Tulki, but Simsalou does. Rubu now has to throw up the shield, and the Mave is going to try to find the execute. They're right back in there. They're going toe-to-toe. G-Bunny is going to shoulder bash his way through. Rock Monkey drops down from base. G-Bunny has the assert dominance if he wants to use it. Envy are going to use the illusory rift to try to seal up this defense, and you really need to win it now. Rock Monkey on the Cassie with a couple of kills. Zarini into the failsafe, stays alive, but a triple kill from the Cassie. Tense moments from Envy, and they're able to grab themselves a point.
That's worth, I think, overall. Getting the illusory rift, they got the seismic crash as well. Early in that fight, we saw a missed overpower, so retaining 30% on that, even though it's awful for Envy to have missed it, means that with the length of that overtime, might be charged back up. Yeah, 97%. So Rubu going to be coming into this. So they have maintained a couple But I think getting rid of Illusory Rift maintains things more than anything. Envy is going to be facing kind of a rough fight. Midnight still available. Assert Dominance still available. And if Cuss can get the right lineup, he might be going bowling at the very beginning of this round, seeing how many he can knock down.
That's right. Maybe wait a moment just to kind of read if they go towards the high ground side or maybe towards the church. Kata's going to throw out the grenade, look for a dismount. Not timed to perfection, which is kind of what that requires, so Rubu's gets through, but immediately dismounted by G-Bunny, who's up on the high ground looking for a maybe big up-down. Rakata cross map, gets caught by the overpower. Rubu does get clipped by the through time and space, not enough to get the kill, and dominoes starting to fall now for Team Envy. Rock Monkey rejoins the fight from way in the back line to the tune of a double kill, looking for one more shot for 3. Rubu gets it. And technically with an ultimate disadvantage score, Envy are able to win the fight.
And they didn't really have to use too much. I mean, they charge up and then use the overpower, but they use it beautifully. They get back on the objective. Midnight still available. But the biggest thing, 88% now, 89% for both the Barrage, the Dome Shield. They still have the Assert Dominance. It's 81-12. Envy have a distinct lead, but there's still enough ults to get the Knights back into this.
Random Noob says Achu drops down that Ice Storm. Assert Dominance to dodge out the Seismic Crash. Not enough, so you use one for the other, but G-Bunny gets that flag down. Envy are going to retreat. 5 streaks for them. No kills just yet. Midnight use, so is the Assert Dominance. Simsaloo's there for the kill on to Rubu. Random Noob flying high above, looking for Rakata now. A wall blocks him off. One more shot on the Cuss Cutie. The Eevee's starting to do it, blinking through. Rock Monkey confirms the kill, but right into a Dome Shield. Zarini needing to stay alive here for the Pittsburgh Knights, but there's no assist for him, and Team Envy are going to win the fight and win point number 2.
And well played around those ults. I mean, they burn everything that the Knights had left in their arsenal to be able to get through that one. And it took a lot of doing, but more than anything, I think that was a return to form, not only for Rock Monkey, but a big one for Random Noob to come back in. A 9 streak burning right now on this Eevee. And so many right place, right times. He's only 4, 7, and 11, but you're looking at, I think, the effectiveness in this round versus last round.
Yeah.
It's, I'd say, 150% better compared to what we saw.
They needed that. Random Noob, up until this mid-fight, didn't have a pretty looking slash line. So having that presence from him, important. Rubu throws up the shield. Unfortunately, there's a Maeve behind you. This is all going to be in favor of the Knights with the respawns a little bit closer. And that's always kind of been the story with Envy, isn't it? I mean, when you get a completely performing full 5 from Envy, I think they're just as good as anyone in this league, but it's finding those big team performances. They are your 3rd seed as of right now.
Yeah.
So they found them enough throughout this split. But come Worlds, you're not going to be able to have an off day.
I think that's the biggest thing. We've seen this team at their full form. They've won a championship with it. It's finding that same lineup again, being able to come in and have that. And admittedly, I think they would absolutely take 2 people having an off day today to make sure that, you know, Saturday, Sunday at DreamHack, they are all in for a semifinals, assuming they can make it that far from the quarterfinals. It's going to be a lot for them. A nice double from Cuss, though. It's going to be able to kind of sit them back down, maybe try to keep them under lock.
Cuss Cutie's been kind of holding on, at least the last 2 through times and spaces have been used to peel for that overpower. The moment Rubu connects, somebody from the Knights is calling out, hey, I got grabbed, and Cuss Cutie is trying to snipe up a kill or 2 and is able to grab 2 this time around. 30 seconds left, only Midnight for the Knights. So maybe you just try to charge up some of your ultimates here for the next mid. Obviously grabbing a point would be good. But a big Seismic Crash from Tulky could kind of kick down the doors here as overtime set to begin with 10 seconds left.
You're going to be able to find it as long as Tulky stays alive here, and with 4,200 health, it's going to be hard to burn him down in time. So overtime's definitely going to be the option. The Knights losing Cuss, the Lights losing Rakata, and Rock Monkey in a great position. This could very well roll through.
Yeah, Rock Monkey back in the Knights base. His back is to the respawn doors, and he's able to hit some good shots. Rubu's going to grab the kill. Now you're relying on squishies with no healer. And that doesn't bode well. Team Envy now looking at maybe a 4-1 win on Stone Keep to answer a tough loss on Frog Isle. And we'll see some of the snipes from Cuss Cutie. This one, right after the overpower, you can see it connect from Rubu and then immediately used to peel out. What a shot that is.
I would say more unfortunate for Rock Monkey than anything that he happened to be behind Rubu there.
Yeah.
It's the only place to find a great angle and stay safe from other shots, but definitely not the right place to be in for that moment. 8-3-9 for Tulkey right now. 12 streak burning for him. Very impactful gameplay coming down from the front line. And I was saying it earlier, I mean, again, Renegades, well, you want to roll it back, SK, Splice. Great examples of teams in the past that have had phenomenal DPS moments, really good games all together, but not been able to win. The frontline impact right now that Tulkey is having is definitely helping this game.
Random Noob sniffs out the early flank from Simpsy. That's been so impactful for the Knights, but a good start for Envy. Ricotta, though, rounds the corner, hits the final few bursts onto the Eevee. It's a flank for flank to start off this round. Envy still fighting from the point, though. How far forward can this Victor move? Barrage connects on a couple of shots, but no real meaningful damage. Assert dominance up and down. Ricotta finds the kill that was awaiting, and it was Mr. Hayes. And Rock Monkey back behind these walls now is going to have to re-engage with the rest of his team in a moment. Big trade out, though, from Random Noob, but a bigger double kill from Simsaloo. They have fast cap Gore. That might be enough to grab them their second point.
Couple of good daggers there. Keep Rock Monkey at half health, but like you said, they're so close to the edge. They're just going to be able to push that one in without anyone to touch through. Tulkey going down. G-Bunny coming up. G-Bunny, not the best slash line coming into this round. Even now is going to be about 4-10. And that is not exactly what you tend to expect out of him. Normally, it's a lot cleaner of a game. In fact, he's the one kind of leading the push for everybody. Which might be part of why he has that negative slash line right now. He grabbed off
One
the
more
map.
time.
Nice shot from Cuss. At least trading that one out 1-for-1.
Every single time. I don't know if he's at just 100% black and white. Either it's an overpower sniper, I'm not even trying it, but Rubu grabs the overpower. Cuss Cutie trades it out with the snipe. At least it's a 1-for-1 when you consider it that way. Zarini with another kill onto Mr. Hayes. Payload starting to move itself closer. Game to be tied here from the Knights. You have to win on an offensive maneuver, so Envy would not be able to win here with the defense. Kills, though, starting to tumble here. Envy down to 2 last members. You're going to have to just start throwing bodies down there. Tulkey respawns, chooses not to go for it. And as great of a position as Envy was in, a fast cap and a fast push for Knights tie this one up.
And a good dismount very early on there from Ricotta. Tulkey kind of poked his head out, immediately got dropped to the ground. Anara is slow.
She's not fast, is she?
Obnoxiously slow. And so once that dismount happens, I feel like Tulkey's like, you know what? I don't need to do any sort of mental math or any physics problems to say if a payload is moving in this direction at this vector, you know, at this speed, how fast does Anara have to drop down to stop it? He's not going to make it there. He knows.
Yeah.
And so holding back, keeping it 3-3, maintaining a seismic crash soon enough. They will also have that illusory rift, both of which are incredibly helpful very early on in the fight. Illusory rift, I would put as like partial compared to Inflame, but still one of those we can win the team fight buttons.
Well, the Knights are going to need to use some of that cauterize to mitigate the illusory rift. Seismic crash connects, but a dome shield drops down. Tulkey down to no health. As Simsaloo is able to grab another double kill, assert dominance from G-Bunny into the back of this keep side, looking for just some blast shots onto Rock Monkey, but now Simsaloo is here to try to end the fight. The blast shots are better. 1-for-1 trade. They trade out. Simpsy for Rock Monkey. Zarini still back on the point, trying to go toe-to-toe with Rubu, who now has to throw up the shield and into the Void Grip, but a barrage from Ricotta might bring things back.
He's going to be able to at least get some damage. One last blast onto Tulkey. Not able to find the kill on the Random Noob. He's going to be able to stay alive. Cuss, once again, that one was just pure. That was not even his ult. Charges that one up. So through time and space available, but the Midnight's the thing that pops out now.
There's going to be a big Midnight. He's going to try to round the corner. Knows where Rock Monkey is. Gets the execute. 72% in climbing for the Pittsburgh Knights. Still 8 through time and space. Cuss Cutie was able to hold on to it. You can just send that one right through the point to keep them from grabbing the touch. Rock Monkey, or Random Noob rather, down into the ice block, but not in time, not on the point. And the Pittsburgh Knights, they come back from 3-1 down and win this game.
That's one of the most awkward EV ice blocks I think I've seen. Like, it's falling down, and it's the saving grace, the saving moment to send it into overtime. It gives you that feeling of, like, this is the hope for Envy. It's this ice block. And then the point's over there. What do we do with it? It's just a very unfortunate scenario, I think, for Random Noob. Much better turnaround, I think, from him and Rock Monkey compared to the beginning of the game, but you could tell that the Knights had things figured out.
When was the last time we saw Envy play? I'm trying to remember. It's been a
been
couple
a
of
while.
weeks at least. We're going to see them, obviously, in this matchup, and then only one more time tomorrow. The Knights, though, again, been maybe a week or two since we've seen them, and they're looking good here today, only needing 2 more wins. They're already halfway there up against Envy. Game 3 right after this break.
The Paladins Premier League is brought to you by Evil Mojo, developers of Paladins.
Pittsburgh Knights taking their second win in what seemed to be a very, very decisive game for Team Envy. PK were able to just flip that right back around, and maybe getting a little bit ahead of myself, but Simsalou Kresnik, I mean, him throughout that game was such a force to be reckoned with on that Mave.
Yeah, when he's on, he can really be so flexible, so mobile, so tough to deal with. And you can see the difference in what a flanker can do for your team. I mean, when we do get a chance to look at the scoreboard, you can see Random Noob, I believe, ended up going, when we saw it in the last check-in before that final fight, he was 7-14.
Yikes.
And you can compare that damage. 40k more for Simsalou on the board. Just a very strong performance, I think, from him in that role. All the other roles, I think, were great, too. 30k more damage for Zarini. So 9-16 was the final checkup for Random. He did have a great shot on a Simsi in that final fight, but in the day, Simsi traded for 3, Random traded for 1. It's always going to be a better look for the Mave in that situation.
It's hard to argue when you've got a 20, 10, and 17 score as well. I mean, the openings he created, I mean, in the very, very beginning of the match, I mean, you see him get a triple, well, a slow triple. He got a double and then immediately got a kill right after that, a little bit later, but he was just, I mean, I already said a force to be reckoned with, but I'm going to end up running out of adjectives to describe how he was playing on this map. I mean, he was just so mobile, and you see it here. I mean, like, he was just taking angles, landing these daggers. And we talked about it in the very, very beginning before this set even started. When Simsalou shows up, he shows up, and it is in a big way. And it is so scary to fight against that no matter what team you're playing as.
Exactly, and it is a big force for Knights, and it's actually super important, too. When he's on, they kind of need him to be on. And that also will kind of make Envy show their weakness more. I've said it 1,000 times that Envy's biggest weakness are teams with flex players that are playing on, right, that are active. When Simsalou's able to do that, again, it's going to exploit Envy's weakness, and we can already see. I mean, I think definitely the highlight player in map 1 was Ricotta. For what?
Was he watching the Mixer chat? Was he hyping? Was he listening to us hype him up? I actually saw it in the reflection right. The Simsalou.
Entirely possible.
Simsalou, I saw that in the reflection back there. Were you listening to us? Regardless, don't even worry about it.
They're getting more screenshots to put my face on every computer back there because it's already on both support computers. Thank you, Spunky. Anyway, we have the map. We have the maps coming in, so we can take a look at where Envy want to go after 2 down in a row, and it looks like it's going to be Serpent Beach.
Yeah, it's going to be Serpent Beach is where we are going for the 3rd game, and that's going to be a very, very interesting map to get a chance to look at and see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be excited for that because that's where they're going to end up. Well, that's where we're going to end up playing, and we're going to see some interesting picks, I'm sure, from both of these teams. Well, Willow's going to be the first ban.
Yeah, Willow so vertical, so strong at spamming down. Not having her on Serpent Beach is very important, I feel. Strix the response for the night, so I have a feeling this is going to be a Makoa or Atlas ban, followed up by the other band. Let's see, goodbye Atlas probably in a moment, unless the Knights have a specific response in mind to an Atlas pick, and they do not, so Atlas goes instead. Envy now can pick one of the off-tanks. They could pick Barrack. Going to be one of the off-tanks instead. Overpower, very impactful. A lot of places you could throw him off on this map, and once he has that high ground locked down, it's very hard to take it back.
Yeah, Willow, Makoa, Strix, Atlas. Got rid of both of the power tanks, and you've got rid of both of the problem children, at least in the terms of DPS form. And Khan is going to be locked in first, just like you were saying, Kresning, and just like it is that we can see. And then we have Barrack, and we have the Genos. Both of them are going to be very, very strong. And we've seen Barrack and Genos locked in before, not just from Knights, but from other teams. And it's always a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of the best point, tank, and support combos in the game. Plus, Genos lets your DPSs be better. Picking Barrack and Genos just makes your DPSs better, too.
Right.
Envy might do the double off-tank aggressive composition, which wouldn't be bad. It's very good on this map, able to cross a lot of space on the left. Plus, you can combine it with the IO. We've already seen Envy play IO on this map to one of the best IO plays, the best, I will postface that, the best IO play we've ever seen from Mr. Hayes, getting that Quadra before. See what they end up with, and it will probably won't be Sky.
Yeah, I can't imagine it will be.
Just having that again. Envy is one of those teams that just like troll hovers constantly.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
spectating scrims with them, it happens quite a bit. And
I
wrote down the drafts, and it was like they do something, I'd write it down, they'd change, I'd backspace, change it again. Happened a lot, but Ashe Mave could be a good lock for them. It's been strong for Simsaloo, but taking that away from them, maybe they feel like that's the linchpin that was letting the Knights kind of pull off all these plays that they were doing.
You've got Barrack, you've got Genos, you've got Khan, Ashe, Mave, and here's what I'm going to pose to you, Kresnik. You see Khan, you see Ashe, you see Mave. This is Serpent Beach.
Yes.
Is this an IO draft?
Yeah.
Is that what this is? Because that's what I'm entirely expecting from Envy.
It could be an IO draft.
Right,
Double off tank means you want something to be able to cap the point.
Exactly.
IO plays to that strength because you just throw Luna on the point instead. Yeah, I guess you could, in a world, you could play like a backline DPS on the map on the point instead, but Luna has a little bit more health, and that's just a lot better.
Right.
More consistent. Cassie will be great at stopping the aggression.
Right.
The scout just being able to not let Envy do anything sneaky, and Eevee, of course, let's break Simsaloo's wrist. Let's give him this champion to counter the Mave on the other side. And picking Cassie also might force Rock Monkey onto the Mave if they feel like they want it, but
Buck
could be coming out to play today to see what Envy decide to finish off their draft with. It's possible, but it will probably be the Leon instead.
Right, yeah, and they're still thinking about the support, but the reason why the IO, I mean, it just spoke to me was, I mean, for a multitude of reasons. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I could not see that not being a support pick for Envy. You've got Khan, Ashe, Mave.
In this game,
you got the Midnight to cover yourself to be able to have that aggression. You got Luna to just sit on point. Ashe, Khan together. That's going to be really scary when they're running at you like that. Leon for that backline presence. That makes sense to me. Knights, but they've got a strong counter draft, I believe personally, to that.
Yeah.
Or at least they do have it for that. Barrack, Genos, Cassie, Eevee, and then potentially a Ruckus. You've got. Both teams already seem to have a very, very strong draft as it is.
For sure. If Knights end with Ruckus, I do actually really like this. He's very powerful on this map, crosses a lot of room. Great on the defense, too, dropping into the back line. As Ruckus, it's like if you can get into the back line, you can do something great. Serpent Beach defense, it's literally free. You're just in the back line all the time. Very, very powerful there. Most likely be the lock. It's also very good, I think, into Leon. Way better at diving it than the Cassie. Cassie's on their side. They don't have to worry about that big game stopping them. Going to say the Cassie Mave scout thing is also a big deal as well. Getting that Cassie in response to the Mave pick from Envy means that Midnight will have nowhere near the level of efficiency that it did the other way around. With Scout up to counter it all the time, they won't be able to make any of those kind of hidden info plays. It's always all going to be out there.
Right. I mean, Knights already are up 2-0. Envy's draft looks good. So do the Knights, but I'm more of a fan
this
for
is down
Envy.
to execution.
Yeah,
I really think it's
exactly.
down to execution.
100%. And I'm glad that you put it that way too, because it is really going to matter who's going to be able to execute or stick to the game plan that their draft has on either side.
Yeah, and Knights have the momentum right now, so if I had to lean one way, it will be with them again. But Envy, we know the world-class team they can be. They just got to show it. On
paper, it looks great, but can it play well in the game? That's the question for Game 3 as we get into it.
That's the question. That's all that matters. Serpent Beach, we go. Another team kind of adopting that double aggressive off-tank play, pairing it with the IO, as this is Envy. They get Khan, they get Ashe. Let's leave the Fox back. Play up in your face and aggressive. Their game plan is laid out for them, but execute. That's the buzzword from the desk. That's the buzzword we'll carry over into the cast. Execution is key.
And it's going to be hard. That's the only way I can look at it. They have the aggressive composition, but you're fighting into a Cassie, you're fighting into an Eevee and a Ruckus. Like, there's a lot of damage coming down from the Knights.
Yeah.
Built to stop you in your tracks. Because of that, it's going to make things a little bit more,
skin.
I would say, awkward, I think, overall, for them to try and play the way that they've drafted to.
How about that skin? Just had to give a Ruckus, Pirate Ruckus skin shout out there. Simsaloo early into the ice block. No cooldowns for him to get out safely. Random Noob is going to grab the kill. A trade for those two, the two flanks. Eevee, Maeve swapped out. Big game from Simpsy on Stone Keep. Random Noob trying to duplicate it and doing a good job of it so far. 36% for the Knights, but Envy are able to grab themselves a few kills and put themselves right back in control.
Simsaloo with a famous quote of, "I'm not an Eevee player, now playing Eevee."
Yeah, that's
I
right.
tend to disagree with him on that, just because he is very solid on it. As of right now, though, he's going to have to clean up against this Maeve to make things go his way. A lot of good daggers from Random Noob this far away. And 90%, you can't afford to take this much poke damage if you're the Knights.
Random Noob, though, is getting a lot of the damage returned onto him. Serini as well. Gets the opening kill. Good shot from Rock Monkey onto Ricotta. 1-for-1 trade. Both teams fighting with 4. The next kill could be detrimental. Simsaloo, same spot as last time into the ice block. Rubu finds the kill here. Random Noob drops down the midnight. Just going to try to help Envy secure this mid, but too much health on G-Bunny. And Enlightenment combined with some good daggers is going to get the Ruckus, but Sereni's still alive on the point. Into the failsafe. Not enough to keep him alive. Team Envy knocking on the door of point number 1 here, and it looks like they're going to get it.
I admire what Cuss was trying to do there, and they should be able to keep some overtime going. Simsaloo going to blink in. Touchdown, maybe soar in an ice block here in a second.
Way.
That's going to be able to get them a touch and keep overtime going for them. But that's an overpower.
Yeah, the overpower comes in, but the rest of the Pittsburgh Knights are here. You have to at least trade out one. Big stun from Luna onto Zerini. Keeps him out of the fight. Overtime expires. Both teams still fighting tooth and nail. Beat gone, but just sends them backwards. Toki and Rubu getting the kills. Ricotta dodge rolls back. Not enough from the Knights. Thought was there. Didn't spend any ultimates, interestingly enough. Hold on to them all, and Envy, they didn't. They used overpower, they used Be Gone, and that was enough.
And the Be Gone, it's one of those moments, like you said, it kind of just knocked him back into the wall, but it's time that he's not able to shoot, time that he's CC, right? That he's just not able to do anything. Comes out of it, he's able to get some good rockets. And G-Bunny, I mean, looking at this game, maybe being some of his higher performance so far, hasn't had great slash lines the last few games.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of riding that line. But the problem is that you're also seeing that come down for Ricotta and Simsaloo.
Yep.
And last game, they were kind of the two pillars that it felt were holding together everyone else on the Knights. Now, it seems like Envy have their number dialed in.
This is that complete Envy we've been asking for, and we're seeing a little bit of it here on Serpent Beach. Mid-game check-in onto slash lines. As bad as you'd maybe expect for the way this game has been going for the Knights. Only 3 kills total. 2 of them for Zerini, 1 for Ricotta. They have mitigated Simsaloo completely from a 20-kill Maeve game. Granted, we're 4 minutes in, but still 0 kills. Random Noob, complete opposite, has been on a tear with this Maeve. That's 1 more kill for him, 1 more death. For Simsaloo, Midnight ready. Overpower connects onto Zerini. No more point tank to contest. Rocket Boot's not enough to get him back in range. This one's going in. Team Envy are going up by 2.
Definitely a good look for him coming into this. Comeback mechanic over the Knights might be a conversation worth having, but honestly, I don't think Envy need to worry about it as of right now, just because of the way this round has gone. Simsaloo has been caught out several times on this Eevee, and it's maybe the Eevee Maeve matchup going against him, but I also think Rock Monkey's had a ton of space and ability to kind of do pretty much whatever he wants in this fight so far. Uncontested by Ricotta, which we've seen kind of shut him down in the maps before this one. 1-4 there for the main carry for the Knights. 0-5, 0-4 for Simsy and G-Bunny respectively. They need to clean up their approach to this mid-fight, or else it's just going to be the exact same thing that we're used to seeing so far.
Cuskutty swing and a miss. Different from what we've seen from him so far. Some little jumpy mechanics from Mr. Hayes on the IO to start off this round, get him into position. Ziggs soaring around the map now for the Knights. Ricotta finds the first kill, 54%. Fast cap for them. So low is Toki back behind this shield, and Ricotta just needs one more shot. Simsalu's gonna drop, or Random Noob rather, is gonna drop down Midnight G-Bunny into the Hexafire, tearing through those shields. No shoulder bash. Finally, Rubu gets out safely, but Zarini gets the kill before Rubu's able to drop down. 99% set to become 100 after they drop Luna down onto the point to just keep it going.
Different approach to the fight so far, keeping things there.
Hey.
Luna doing anything and everything. The healing getting pumped into that. Random Noob going to get revived up to full health here.
Yep.
But unfortunately, that means the healing no longer there for Luna. And poor Luna is going to go on that large 18-second cooldown. Leave the road open for the Knights.
I chuckle because the Begone just kind of animation from that angle, it catches G-Bunny and just nothing he can do, flying away and then plants into the wall back behind him. Mr. Hay, you know, between Victor and a lot of the conversations we've had surrounding teams and different champions they've picked up, IO has absolutely been something that's been discussed, and it's kind of been Kanga, maybe SSG. Envy as well, though. Mr. Hayes, specifically on this map, has loved himself some IO.
Yeah, I mean, being able to come through. We saw her, I want to say, first and foremost on Fish Market.
Yeah.
Warder's Gate's another one that comes to mind. But Serpent Beach fits that style of play. We're going to fight around the sides. We're going to fight Sundial, or we're going to fight Waterfall. Leave something on the objective in the meantime, send an extra force over to the side, or make it easier for her to just find an angle for the heals.
Yep.
Either way, you're going to be setting yourself up for success, and so far that's been exactly what it is. I'm just going to throw out a big number here. 19 is the streak for Rock Monkey.
Yeah.
As I was looking at the icon for IO, my eyes get drawn to that. 6-0 and 13, 67,000 damage. Something needs to be done about him, and Simsalu is the one that needs to do it. But right now, 0 and 7 for the Eevee. It's not quite landing.
Well, that's really what it is, right? I mean, you need that Eevee to be able to make Rock Monkey uncomfortable, but the aggression, the perfect aggressive composition. Finally, Rock Monkey taken down, but it's by Ricotta. Double kill for the Cassie, one for the Eevee. We'll digress to that point in just a moment as Payload moving itself very close here. Respawns 5 or so seconds out. Very staggered. Toki has Commander's grab if he wants to just get in range a little bit extra. Battle shot used, back onto cooldown. Gonna get melted down here. Be gone maybe for Mr. Hayes, not gonna use it. Toki drops. Ricotta doesn't win that engagement. Mr. Hayes does. Checkerboard of kills here. Who's losing their frontliners? That might be more important. It's the Pittsburgh Knights. Down to Zarini here, 15 seconds left. Be gone, up into the air, goes Simsalu, 9 health left, on to Mr. Hayes. Simsalu finishes off the kill, assert dominance. Envy are selling house to try to defend.
I mean, it's going to be enough to get rid of Cuss, which is going to stop the healing. Zarini should go down because of it. And put Simsalu in a bad spot as well. You can come up and touch,
Whoa.
but this is looking good
Whoa,
for
G-Bunny.
What?
Oh my, the Hexafire, he drops down just to the side. Simsalu gets the hug. What a play from the Knights. No chance they push that in. And the timing is right there. And against all odds, the Knights force it through. A Hexafire from G-Bunny. Everyone was stacked on that payload, and they're able to just push it on in.
I'm going to have to see that one again, whether it's in post-game highlights or whatever. I know I want that one just because how unlikely that is, I guess, is the only way I can word it. A really well-placed Hexafire from G-Bunny. There's no reason that should be going in, but well played from him, well played from Simsy.
Yeah.
Kind of keep the door open for them, keep them in overtime, and allow him to come in and get the touch. A lot of intricacies there for the Knights.
Oh, nice.
And this round's going to start with a pick.
And that's the perfect person, Gore, getting it onto Rock Monkey. He's been untouchable on these mid-fights, but completely dead to start this one off. Ricotta, double kill. Overpower from Toki. He's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. No damage. Oh, so close. If that rock wasn't there, Zarini maybe would have been able to make it back. But now G-Bunny off the back of a great Hexafire to win him a point. Getting forward, aggressive onto Team Envy. The crumble on Serpent Beach is here, and it's now Pittsburgh Knights looking for the zone in point number 3.
The only question I have is, what's Luna doing right now? Bulldozer has been picked up for the Knights, so it's possible she was destroyed, but needs to be on the objective contesting at least. That's 84-0 right now in favor of the Knights, and it has to be the Bulldozer because Luna just went on cooldown.
Yep, it was there, and then it wasn't. In the blink of an eye, G-Bunny trying to stay alive. Dome Shield drop down from the Knights onto the point. They have plenty of time. No fast cap for Envy. You don't have to win it here if you're the Knights, but Team Envy have to win this fight. Ricotta dodge rolls through. Simsalu grabs 2. Now a blink over. Ricotta finishes up the third kill, and it's two squishy members of Team Envy trying to contest this point. What a turnaround it's been. I wonder if that Hexifier just broke the camel's back.
I honestly think it is one of the ceiling factors that could potentially showcase the rest of this game. Envy still fighting tooth and nail, but it seems clawing their way up from the bottom is better for the Knights. A lot of it has also been the adaptation. I think buying this Bulldozer and kind of playing against the strategy Envy have employed, you can pick up IO and play well with IO, but there is a certain level of play that is just going to tear her apart. And right now it's Ricotta.
The complete flip from Leon dominance to Cassie dominance in this game is nuts. Ricotta was, or Rock Monkey rather, was 6-0 and some double digits. He is now 8-5-15. He has gotten 2 kills for his last 5 deaths. A big turnaround there. And Ricotta, much the opposite. Hexifier ready, Midnight down, Hexifier into Toki. Battle shouted out to keep him alive, but into the commander's grab, and now he's out of contest range. The front lines for Team Envy are starting to melt. Ricotta finishes up the damage. Toki off on the side, not enough. Pittsburgh Knights win 4 straight points and grab themselves Serpent Beach.
There's so many little things, I think, through that one that you can pick apart. Credit for me, though, goes to G-Bunny. I think 2 Hexifiers, both well-placed, both well-timed, allow that payload to convert both times for them to find the 2-0, then the 2-0.
Yep.
Very, very well-played and a great turnaround from Ricotta from early on. Very rough game. You had mentioned it, but Rock Monkey gets essentially 5-2, 4-2 in the last couple of rounds. Not a lot of kills, not a lot of assists for him. That turnaround was probably the biggest gift that the Knights could have been granted.
You look at the Hexifiers, and even that small moment, Cuss Cutie snipes out Rock Monkey at the very beginning of that last mid-fight. Gets rid of the Leon.
Yeah.
Everything snowballs from there. Pittsburgh Knights, they look unstoppable. Envy, one last chance. You got to win 4 straight here to give yourself a fighting chance. Still in 3rd place. Virtus Pro, though, going to be happy to see this result if it holds true. Pittsburgh Knights looking to seal it up in just a sec.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Premier League.
The Pittsburgh Knights, man. I mean, I said it in the very, very beginning. If they show up today, it's going to be really, really hard for Envy to be able to try and fight. And hard fought it is. PK with three wins in a row over Envy. Envy not even having taken a single map yet. That is a strong look for PK.
And I said earlier, too, these teams are both kind of inconsistent in some different ways. Envy, we know sometimes they're the world champions. Sometimes they're this Envy that I think we're seeing right now. Not to say that the Knights I think are playing very well, because I think they are.
Right.
I think the Knights have been performing very well throughout these games, but 0-3 scoreline I think just kind of plays towards that inconsistency. The fact that these teams both had different performances, and the Knights absolutely have shown up so far today.
Right. I mean, we could see it here in the post-game stats as well. Ricotta, 87,000. Rock Monkey, no sleeper of his own at 98K. I mean, that's a lot of damage to be pulling out, but not too surprising, I should say, especially for someone of his caliber. All these players playing well, but I mean, Knights just, I'm not going to say they have what it takes, but I mean, they just have all their eggs in one basket. I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to. 16-6-5 for Ricotta. I mean, 7-9-6. It was a rough game for Simsalou in the very beginning.
Yeah,
because he was 0-7.
He was 0-7.
He was 0-7.
In that final round, he went 7-2. He completely turned things around, but I think the keys to me on the Knights side were, I mean, you can't ignore Ricotta, 16 and 6.
And you can't ignore
You
this.
also can't ignore G-Buddy. I think the pressure the Ruckus put on was huge, and having this clutch here, I think when you lose a close defense like this that you spent ultimates to hold, I don't know who in chat has been in a competitive situation like that for this game before, but that is the absolute momentum killer. It is so hard to come back from when you feel like you've won a fight and it just gets stolen away from you at the last moment. Still, though, fantastic, I think, by them, by Ricotta, by Bunny, both performing excellently so far, and they're going to need to keep doing that if they want to take this with a 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, they really are pushing the pressure. They're being aggressive and doing it in all the right ways because it was able to net them another win. I mean, Envy are starting strong. Very first game, it was hard to contest that PK. You know, we're just really strong in that game. As the games went on, Envy are taking points. They're doing what they're supposed to, but then they're just not being able to step up to where PK, it's like Envy are right here, and then all of a sudden PK is like down here, and then they just skyrocket as the rest of the game goes on, and it's hard to try and fight back against that.
Yeah, that plays into that inconsistency too, right?
Right, exactly.
PK are
True.
low and then high, and we'll have to see if they can keep that high going on the next map too.
Yeah.
Wherever Envy wants to go down 0-3, they can't go to that fish market because of that ban earlier. So Ice Mines is where they want to go instead.
Ice Mines, it is trying to slow things down. Envy are trying to start to play the game at the pace they want to play, but that's a matter of if they can at least try to fight back against the Knights. I mean, they are on fire, and it is so hard to try and stop that fight try and stop that momentum that they have, especially since they're already 3-0.
I just want to say really quick,
Yes.
so I keep track of the maps in the Google search bar, and I don't know what kind of ice cream is called Frog Stone Serpent Ice Cream, but that was the autocomplete for Google currently. I don't know what they're on, but
Neither do
I'm
I.
not on that wavelength either. Envy and Knights are on the same exact wavelength when it comes to bans, though. No matter who is first or second pick, it always ends up the same way. Frog Isle notwithstanding. Same for out of the picture, and Envy start kind of similarly too and grab themselves a Khan.
Yeah, Khan, first pick, just like you were saying, my friend. Then you got Barrick, then you've got Victor. You've got already a strong backline. Putting Ricotta on this Victor again. I mean, we saw his performance on Frog Isle. If he has some of the same performance that he has had before, it's going to be something that Envy are going to have to be careful of, especially. You've already got that shield break. You already got that presence. You've already got the barrage that's going to go over Khan's shield. I mean, you have so many tools, not just to stop this character, but to make it hard for anyone who's trying to fight at all.
And I think Victor is just so good on this map, too. Having him, I think, is going to be very crucial. Barrage, you can't hide from it if someone just gets a little corner peek. Like, is Victor still using Barrage? He is. I'm also dead. But I have given that critical information to my team.
The Storm Siren.
Let's see if it does end up working out for them. Barrick also a very solid tank, so good on this map, and having that solid point tank so high winning, I think, is important as well. And double off tank plus the dismounting support, the dismounting sustain support for Envy, getting that potential to stop them, which means Knights will most likely end up with Genos, as expected, I would say. Having that hit scan dismount so crucial. And it'll also work with their comm too. Barrick, Victor, I don't think either of them are unhappy to be getting a Genos with them as well.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, you've got that sustainability for sure on Envy's side. And this is like, I mean, Knights already just have the aggression. I mean, they've got, like, come on, man. They've got Barrick to be able to just sit there on point and also to be able to flank or provide pressure if he needs to, which we've seen him do before. They've got Victor to be able to shred those shields, Genos for Luminary. They've got Pip, Evil Mojo, and just a lot of surprising damage. I mean, Envy are just trying to play like a survival mode at this point. I mean, they have the sustainability and they have a more defensive composition, but Knights are trying to hammer this one in. I mean, they're up 3-0, and they're trying to make sure they can win this fight.
I don't know if they're going to go Drogos or BK.
Good point.
I'm thinking right now what they want to go for random. Both fit into them. Maybe they bring out the Eevee again. It wasn't doing fantastic on Stone, so I think they might avoid it.
Okay,
It'll be
well.
Eevee. I don't know if I agree with this with how it performed earlier. I think put random on BK. He's very comfortable there. It's very good on this map. Maybe not phenomenal into what the Knights have, but I think you can play it in an angle that they're not really contesting. He'd be so good at locking down Barn and pushing into the backline that I don't know if that's an answer that the Knights will be able to have, but if Envy stick with this, could be, I think, the beginning, potentially, of the end. Now they have a potential to get very aggressive with their composition, right? But I don't know if that's necessarily what they need. I feel like they might just get shredded by the Victor Pip as they go in.
Yeah, Eevee, Cassie. I mean, I'm a big fan of Knights. Oh, you got Fernando. I mean, I
Oh, I thought they were going to be like, oh, they got Fernando. Never mind.
I
That's what I thought you were about to drop on me there.
Oh yeah. One character just ruins the entire draft. No, I'm not gonna say that. I mean that's strong. I mean that is what Knights need. I mean they have the Immortal to continue fighting if they need to. I mean that's a lot of pressure that you can put out. I mean you've got Luminary, you've got the Immortal, Evil Mojo, you've got Shred, you got Tank Shred, you've got the Wrecker. I mean just on Victor.
They have a lot of answers.
You've got sustainability. You've got sustainability. Exactly right. They just have plenty of power, and I find it really, really hard for Envy to be able to fight against that. In my personal opinion, I believe that.
I think you're right about that. If they lock in this Nando, the ability to Immortal will be pretty strong. I wonder who's going to play it. I haven't seen G-Bunny really play too much Nando without Scorch and Brand and Hot Pursuit. So interesting to see how he kind of fills in that role. I know even yesterday on Chain Reaction he was saying that he just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Talking about how
Okay, well, this was
Nando,
sure.
so
That's
that would make
still
sense.
good.
And I think that's fine with Genos Pip.
I
You
agree.
have the sustain to make that double point tank composition work. You can even play her with Treacherous Ground on this map if you really wanted to. Don't know how good that would be against the comp on the other side, to be fair, but she's very, very solid on this map. If you outpace their Master Riding, you can just lock them out of choke and just dominantly control that space.
Right. I mean, it's so difficult to try and pick favorites here, but in my opinion, I mean, I just really, really like the Knights draft. This could be it, guys. I mean, 3-0 Knights with so much momentum. This is game 4. We're going to throw it down to the casters to just take us right into the game.
Game 4. Ice Mines ready to kick off. Knights just need one more win. They seal themselves for 6th place. They're done. Kanga can't do anything tomorrow if the Knights win here. Envy got to win 4 straight, Gore.
It's a difficult task. One team has done it in all of 2019. That's really the only thing you need to know about that. One set of all of 2019. That's what, 28 each time?
Yeah.
56 total that comes through. Nope, even worse.
You lost me. You're on your own here.
That's going to come through. No, I was right, 56. I shouldn't have second-guessed myself.
Like I said, you're on an
16.
island.
Either way.
You're on an island right now.
56 total games, 1 out of 56. I don't know the math for that one, but it's a really low number that's going to be coming through. And it's not quite 56 just yet. There's still 3 tomorrow.
You're right, we have 8 teams.
So this could be... I don't need the math. 56 is the right number for the total sets this week.
No, I'm trying
not this week.
I'm thinking...
How about this year? But
Gore, we got 3 games tomorrow. We're selling all of our brain power for the...
You're right. Too much math. Hey, guys, I passed calculus, too. I promise.
Dude, you're computer science. You got to know all these things.
It took me a couple tries.
I'll
be honest.
You got letters in your math. All I do is numbers. And even then, I'm still bad. Pittsburgh Knights off to a good start here. The numbers in their favor at 42%. They're kind of way in behind Envy right now. And just trying to break through this line. You're going to have to fight back through a Victor, back through a Pip. Things looking difficult here. No kills just yet. Just pressure out on the map. Cuscuti in a perfect spot, especially with that Genos. You can just throw up some Astro Marks. Great Void Grip. Gets Rakata a kill and keeps Rubu out of contest range, but you lose Cuscuti.
And, well, in the process, you're at least eliminating anyone and everyone. Rakata doesn't care if you don't have a healer. He's just going to play to kill. And that's the thing about this. I see Ice Mines. I see Knights. I don't know what Envy were thinking. This is their map. They 4-0. Like, they were one of the first teams, if I remember correctly, to consistently 4-0 on this map.
Yeah, they figured it out.
And that screams to me an issue choosing this as your last map. Rakata's already doing well. Simsalou has a champion that not only does he do well on, but is perfect for this map. Vex and Cuss alike have showcased how great Genos can be on this map. It just feels like they didn't draft too well for the Ice Mines. They chose a wrong map to go to try and turn the set around. It feels like the ball is in the Knights' court.
It does. It seems like, well, it is their set to lose so far ahead. Great Evil Mojo from Simsalou. Not enough damage to get the kills. Better Illusory Rift from Mr. Hayes to top off those chickens' health bars and keep them in the fight. Shrugged off now is the barrage. Knights throwing a lot of ultimates out, not finding really any value for it. Rubu from the backline gets the kill onto Cuscuti. This could be damning here for the Knights. Never want to lose a fight this convincingly on Ice Mines. They're going to be able to push way far forward into the Knights' base.
Definitely a solid turnaround
They needed it.
And yeah, no, they absolutely needed that moment. And so far, on par, kind of for the way first rounds have gone. They can get aggressive on this defense and win this fight, then it's looking like it might just seal the deal. With 50 seconds left, there might be 2 more that they have to burn through. And now it's Rubu who's on the chopping block.
Nice storm, so they still have a chance. Ice Mines does move quickly if you're able to get these big staggers. So low is Rubu, but he's able to shoulder bash his way to safety. Tulky, though, a little bit caught out. Serini gets the kill. This honestly could be your round here, depending on if Envy are able to secure it. Big jump distance there from Simsaloo. Funny little bit of tech with Pip. If you're standing near a wall or kind of next to a wall when you use your weightless, you jump a little bit higher.
It's a fun combination, right? Just because, and this is the fun fact for everybody, you always jump higher next to a
true.
wall.
Right.
That's
true.
the weird part. When you use weightless with it, you get that bonus, but it's like exaggerated because of it. It's so cool. But it's also fun. I think my favorite has to be Maeve, the double jump next to a wall, because you clear some distance with that. It is insanely fun. You follow up with a pounce, or in this case, you get a weightless on it. You get not only good distance, good height.
Yep.
And when we're talking about mobility, it's opening up the door.
Illusory Rift from Mr. Hayes to keep his team in it, but it wears out, and the rest of the Pittsburgh Knights looking to get aggressive. Simsaloo gets the kill, drops himself some healing as well. Battle Shout to keep Tulky alive, but not enough. They're going with that double aggressive off-tank composition here, not paying off. It's down to Random Noob.
Wow.
He can't do anything about it. Pittsburgh Knights a cap and a push away from a 4-0 over Envy.
I'll be honest, the most impressive thing on that is how well the Knights come back for a conversion. Like, on Ice Mines, I expect this to go 1-1 only because of how well Envy defended for the first minute and a half to 2 minutes. So now, I mean, facing threat of elimination as well as a pretty good turnaround towards the end of that round. Pressure is on. We'll have to see how Envy are able to handle it. Sometimes they have kind of become the diamond that you know them to be under pressure. But this amount, especially with 3 Master Ridings to get them up there a little faster to the mid-fight. Knights are looking for dismounts. They're looking for control. They've got some good ults coming into this as well. Only 2 of them, but good ones at that.
Through time and space, Cheeky from Cuss Cutie doesn't connect. Dismounts themselves. Ricotta sprinting on through, has the barrage. Has to be careful, though. Rubu does have the assert dominance. Could get aggressive here. Up downs very easy in this hallway. Moves forward. No evil mojo, but a nice storm used from Random Noob. Team Envy have fast cap. They just need 1 fight to get them a point here on Ice Mines. Nobody on the point just yet. Rock Monkey's just getting run down now by Zerini. The young Inara flank is working out for him. Forces him to dodge roll backwards. Finally, Rubu uses the assert dominance. Both DPSs, 1 per team, pushed back to the edges of the map.
With Ricotta coming back into the fight, it's going to bring back a
overpower.
barrage. With the missed overpower, that keeps Zerini alive a little longer. Barrage going to come down. Tulky just barely staying alive through that, but barely is the key word. If they can eliminate him, they're going to at least even up the tank trade.
Watch out for the evil mojo as well. Very close to being ready here from Simsaloo. Getting aggressive now as the rest of the Pittsburgh Knights. Only Illusory Rift soon to be ready for Envy. Can counter out that evil mojo. Something to be mindful of there. Illusory Rift now used. Aggressive, in and out. Goes Random Noob. Still on the point, though, are the Pittsburgh Knights. Tense moments. 1 more team fight is maybe all you need for either team here. Simsaloo's going to sneak through this pathway. Just get himself some emote.
Evil mojo through time and space. You're going to have a dome shield. Gets dropped immediately. And seismic crash coming up. Knights, they're looking to be able to hold on to this. 69-46, and there's the evil mojo.
He connects, but into an ice block. Random Noob, ice storm out as well. Double kill for him. Big advantage now for Team Envy. Tulky melted down by Ricotta. Ricotta kind of won it all for the Knights in the last mid-fight. Pittsburgh Knights up to 99%. Rock Monkey back on the re-engage. It's the victor against the world. Right now, as Zerini goes down, things are looking great for Team Envy in a long, exaggerated Ice Mines fight finally coming to a close. It's going to be Envy on top, but still a point to win here for the Knights. If you can push it to 3, you're going to be feeling good.
Honestly, you decrease one of those death spawn timers for the tanks on Knights, just one of them even, and you get back in there with a through time and space and a barrage ready, I think the Knights are still able to capture this objective. But I admire their kind of patience. Hold on to it, come in, again, look at the defense, although we've kind of seen how easy it can be and how difficult it can be all in one round last time. Knights looking to try and have a cleaner defense than Envy did.
That's gonna start off a little shaky as Rubu drops down the banner. Zerini doing his best to contest just for a little bit longer. Kills getting chipped away though for Team Envy. Got it knocked back. Nice double kill from Rubu to keep things moving forward. Now at 1.5 minutes left. Tons of time for Envy to try to flip this game around. Pittsburgh Knights looking one more time for a good defense. Halftime check-in on damage and slash lines. Show you a checkerboard from top to bottom damage-wise. Ricotta leading the charge by about 10,000.
I think the biggest thing, and it might start towards the end of this round in the last minute, because it's coming up at 99% right now. Evil Mojos have not been connecting.
They don't really have Rizzo either.
Yeah, it's not been, oh, they're popping out of it. One was red with an ice block, which was brilliant more from Random Noob than anything against Simsaloo. But the first one, really good Illusory Rift, kind of led it off. Envy are countering the Evil Mojos. If he can find the right window to hit one, this game's as good as done, but it's coming down to whether or not Simsaloo can find that window, and that's how close this is.
Yeah, this is the dream. You're 10 minutes into a game, and there's only one Rizzo 1 on the enemy team. You're happy about it. Some have worked out, some have not. Only a couple kills, maybe 1 or 2 from them. Zerini kills Rubu, 30 seconds left. Sometimes 1 kill is all you need on defense. Random Noob into the ice block. He's gonna catch some shots from Ricotta on the end of it. Rock Monkey going down. That doesn't spell very much success for Team Envy. Looks like Pittsburgh Knights are going to seal up one more point. They're going to be fighting for the set and to seal up 6th place at the end of this round.
Locks them in very comfortably in the bracket if they're able to do so. I mean, when you're looking double elim, you're coming in as technically in the top 2 for that bracket, because the top 4 that are in the PPL are just getting kind of a bypass through that one.
I guess that, yeah, you're right. Maybe it's not maybe right to word it that they're locking in 6th place in the PPL.
They're locking in 2nd seed for the qualifiers.
There you go. I think that's the way I'm going to work, because I like that better. Lock in the qualifier 2nd seed with a win here.
One just has a little more caveats.
That carries some more gusto, doesn't it? Qualifier 2nd seed locked in. Does make a difference. You know, you're going up against one of the Xbox teams if you're 1 seed lower, or you're 1 seed lower, or you're going up against the Hype Unit PML team, who've been looking good in all of their games. This is a big one for the Knights. One more fight, all they need. 5 ultimates ready to go through time and space. Could tilt this one. Ice Storm into Zerini. Overpower connects onto Simsaloo this time, but is anyone there to capitalize on the kill? G-Bunny finally killed, but Simsaloo out of the overpower gets the kill onto Toki through time and space, connects from Cuss Cutie. A seismic crash is all that's left for the Knights, but an assert dominance is all that's left here for Team Envy. Knights just connecting on their ultimates.
Now, there are quite a few things that go right for them there, but I'm just going to have to say, you can never rely on through time and space. Because has been bringing that every single map he's gotten Genos on, which, if I'm remembering right, has been all 4 of them.
Yep.
He has been such a huge factor on this, and it's opened up this point, made it a lot easier to deal with Rock Monkey.
Seismic crash, assert dominance. All you got here, Team Envy needing to fight back in. Ricotta with the opening kill. Seismic crash locks them up. Pittsburgh Knights get the 4-0 over Team Envy. 2nd seed in your qualifier bracket is locked up right behind SSG in convincing fashion.
And I don't know how they feel about it.
Whoa.
But I'm scared if I'm either console team having to go into now your 5th and 6th seed knowing that it's SSG and Knights. That is incredibly frightening. But your bottom 4 are locked in for the PPL. Kanga still have a game tomorrow that'll be interesting to see. But Knights ending their season on a 4-0 over Envy.
That's right.
That's probably the best way to go out. You just beat the reigning world champs.
That's right. This is the last look we'll get at the Pittsburgh Knights. 2nd to last look that we'll get for Envy. The implications, of course, are that the Knights, as we've mentioned, lock up the 2nd seed in that qualifier bracket. But now, originally, if Envy had won this matchup, Virtus Pro would have had to win against Kanga and then beat Envy to force all these weird tiebreakers. Now, if Virtus Pro win both, they just outright take over that third seed. So 2 matches for VP tomorrow. Something you need to keep your eye on. Lots of games still. Some top 4 shifting potentially to be done in all 3 of our matchups tomorrow. Big win for the Pittsburgh Knights. Lock up their 2nd seed. Let's send it back to the desk and wrap up the day.
Well. Look at us, huh? Just look at us. PK 4-0.
Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought PK being able to take that over Envy? That is a very, very big accomplishment for them. And congratulations for locking in that 6th seed still. They'll still have to go through qualifiers, but if they're playing how they played today, I have no worries for them from this point on.
Yeah, for sure. I think they were playing really well throughout the day, adapting to everything that Envy was really throwing at them. I felt like the drafts specifically, I think, were something that was their strong point throughout. And again, I mentioned that could be a weakness that Envy have on the other side. They always try to play their style regardless of meta, and I think Knights kind of figured it out.
I think they did too. I mean, you even see it in the damage numbers themselves. Like 98,000, I mean, the 70,000s. I mean, their slash lines are all really, really good. And props to Zaridi, man. 5, 4, and 13 as well. I mean, such a prominent point here. They got the Anar, they got the Barrack. Overall, a really, really strong performance from them.
I wanted to mention the Anar because it was something that was kind of indecisive the last moment. Stat line wasn't the best looking at the end of the game, but he put on a lot of pressure, and specifically at the end of that first push, he was inches away from death, but managed to use everything exactly how he needed to not end up going down. I thought that was fantastic. I haven't talked about Zarini too much today, but still, the end, he put on a lot of pressure there, completely denied the retake potential from Envy, and helped them just secure at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of, I mean, not only is the draft strong, but you've managed to take the Anar, you managed to take the Barrier, you take 2 of the strongest point tanks, you put them together on a team, and even still, they're able to pull out some amazing plays. Zarini was just a very, very strong force, and definitely a force to be reckoned with throughout that fight, and just throughout the rest of the game. But
yeah, sorry. No, it's fine.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we're gonna be able to throw it straight, real quick to an interview with the winners on PK's team.
Well, we have the Knights here after a pretty quick 4-0, and not a lot of people expecting that to end your, well, I guess season at this point as we go in towards qualifiers. And Ricotta, we got to talk with you at the beginning of this phase after all these roster changes. The one thing you said that you wanted to have happen was to improve, just to kind of showcase not only in the standings, but just as a team that you have gotten better and kind of deserved the spot you've been able to go to. Your 6th slot now, you're going in as number 2 for the qualifiers. How are you feeling about the team?
I think it's really starting to mesh. Every little bit and piece, all the gears are grinding together. I think we've really identified every issue. Sometimes they still happen, but we're aware of it, and it gets better to better each week. This match symbolically meant a lot to me, because me and Bunny, I know for sure, have learned off the Envy guys. We looked up to them. They were the first guys that we watched, and we've never actually took a victory against them. Symbolically, it meant a lot, but at the same time, the match, I didn't feel nervous. I don't think any of us felt nervous. It just felt like, okay, let's go ahead and get this over with. It felt good.
To kind of piggyback off of that, G-Bunny and maybe Ricotta, if you have some input on it, Gormizer mentioned it. You're officially locked in as the 2nd seed in that qualifier tournament now. How's that playing? Was seeding really something in the back of your mind going into this one?
I got something to say. Hype unit console is scarier than hype unit. So that's a little unfortunate.
It's a little unfortunate, but I do think Hype Unit Console is a team to take serious, right? They're going to have their own meta coming into it. They're going to play their own way, and I hope it turns out well.
Is that your prediction that you think Hype Unit's going to win, their console team's going to win that first-round Console Wars matchup and face you guys first in that qualifier bracket?
I don't even know what the bracket is, honestly. I'm just trying to improve. I haven't even looked at it yet.
I do think they are the strongest console team by a good shot right now.
Well, that's potentially who awaits you guys in the first round of the qualifiers. Congratulations. What a way to end your split. Enjoy the next couple of weeks. Practice. Get ready for that qualifier week. We'll see you guys then. We'll send it back to the desk to finish up the day.
Thank you guys from the interview, and of course an amazing showing for PK today. Congratulations to them for being able to 4-0 Envy. That just means that qualifiers got a whole lot more spicier.
Yeah, and I think what Ricotta said about he's not even looking at the bracket. He just wants to improve himself, right? I mean, I think that might go to why they've been improving the way that they have been recently.
Right. Let's take a look at the schedule. We only had 2 games today, but tomorrow, guys, that's going to be it for the PPL 2019, or at least this split, Phase 2. Day 2 tomorrow on Friday. That's going to be the very last thing. You got Virtus Pro versus Kanga. You've got Not Sincere versus NIP. And then VP play again versus Team MV to close that out. And that's going to be some extra amazing matches before we end up getting into qualifiers.
And it actually changes the seeding of the top 4 too, depending on how the games go. If NIP managed to 4-0, Na'Vi at this point, I believe they can tie. It's close. Yeah, it's an 8 maps between them, so that'll be 4+ for NIP, 4- for Na'Vi. It'll be dead even there. And NVVP, if VP managed to take that win over Kanga, that's a win and in the seeding. If VP can overtake Envy, if they manage to beat Kanga tomorrow, and take that the 3rd seed position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 16-11, 12-map differential, Virtus Pro, 15-11, and 15-map differential. I mean, they are neck and neck with deciding who's going to be that 3rd seed, man. I mean, of course, all 4 of them will still be able to get past that little qualifiers bracket right there. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be high stakes tomorrow. Such as VP have to play. Seeding does matter entirely, especially since you got to play VP twice for Kanga and Team Envy.
Yeah, there's VP have a gauntlet tomorrow too. We'll have to see what VP show up. Also, after had looked before, I think they're gonna be waking up, and I think we might see a different bear coming out in the games tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see that for sure. But that's all the PPL games that we have for you guys today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to be starting a little bit earlier than we did today. We have plenty of awesome matches for you guys. I'm Fawn. This is Kresnik, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.
We're here live from Atlanta. The players are here. The stage is set. Let's get down for esports!
This is where we also talk about the new stuff that we've got coming out for you all.
Look, HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
It's that 2nd place. I can't wait to see what 1st place is.
It's HRX.
I know it's just me. I'll find another set.